What's up, everyone? This is Eric Miller, and you are currently watching the Gamers Roundtable. We are a bunch of video gamers, PC gamers, mobile gamers, gamers of all shapes and sizes and colors and creeds, hanging out and talking about video games. Our typical host, Leaf X, is busy doing something. I don't really. Anybody know what he's doing? Yeah, he's got a rather large drug deal going down tonight that he'll be present for, so he won't be joining us. We have regulars, Sarah. Say hi, Sarah.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's good to be here again.
We also have Manny, who is in full ghost attire, warming up his Halloween costume there, so you can't really see him. He might join us at some point in time later tonight, but the topic for this week's podcast is side quests and potentially anything else having to do with the game that you like that wasn't part of the main story.
Yeah, side quests and unlockables, all that jazz.
Yeah, jazz. Okay, I will try to unlock that camera, and I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out as we go along. Zach, why don't you start us out here on your first...
In terms of side quests? Yeah, for sure.
Why not? I mean, unless you want to talk about some news, if you have any topics or anything like that.
Tons of news, and we could go around the table, see who's playing what.
Yeah.
The main reason why I was the one who suggested this topic was simply that I'm playing a lot of Final Fantasy X, the HD remake right now on Vita. And I'm at that post-game part right now, so I'm doing literally all trying to get the Celestial weapons, trying to collect all the monsters for the Monsters Arena and stuff. And yeah, that's been the big thing right now is doing the side quests and how painful it is to a certain degree. Like, I love doing stuff like that, like getting all of the extras that's available in the game. Yeah, like pretty much side quests make or break a game, I found. But right now with FF10, I'm doing the final grind and getting all the side quests and stuff, and it's been pretty ridiculous. So that's what I've been playing, and that's also kind of what has spurred up this topic today. That's why I suggested it, is because I'm in the middle of doing side quests right now, and it's yeah. It's quite the grind.
Fun.
Yeah. Other than that, still playing Shadows of Mordor. Still really enjoying that. I haven't actually played it as much as I would have liked to. It's kind of the thing with mobile gaming. What I like about it is that it's good. You can, especially in a game where you can kind of, when you're doing grinding and side quests, and you're just like, well, whatever, I'm just grinding. Like, it's good to have like that companion piece. You'd be watching TV while playing. So with Shadows of Mordor, I found like any actual like solid console game takes a lot for me to get in the mood these days to actually sit down and focus on just one thing. I like to be able to do multiple things at once. So I've been playing some Shadows of Mordor still. What else?
We haven't been able to play Diablo 3 in a long time.
Yeah, we haven't played Diablo 3 recently.
Well, Smash, obviously.
And then Smash, of course.
Yeah.
Smashes, yeah. And I finally completed The Last of Us Remastered, which was fantastic. So, yeah, that's me. What you just been pretty much playing Smash, eh?
Yeah. I don't think I've touched anything else since it came out. Like, I might have played Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for like 20 minutes, but that's about it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe Manny's here. Yeah. Manny, what have you been playing lately? You got anything? Yeah, have you been? I heard you were saying you were pretty stoked on Shadows of Mordor. Have you had a chance to play it yet?
No, I probably won't for like a long time.
Oh yeah.
You're still playing Skyrim, aren't you, Manny?
No, I was playing Far Cry 3 just like 5 minutes ago.
That's an excellent game.
Yeah, half and half.
Well, what do you like about it?
Oh, the story is absolute garbage. It's just not good.
The story was fairly. I mean, the what's his name? What the hell is that? The main bad guy. What is it?
Voss.
What?
Voss. VASS. Voss.
Yeah. Oh, Voss. Right. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah. You didn't think that he was a well-developed character?
He's starting to fall apart, and I'm starting to see what everyone meant. Like, they didn't know what to do with that character. He was a good character, and he sort of wastes his potential midway through. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not playing that game for a story.
Right. You just
Very
playing.
few games are worth playing for their story. I'm playing for the mechanics. I mean, I think
Fantastic.
so far, Blood Dragon.
Well, I was going to say, you were the one that recommended us play.
Yeah, Blood Dragon's a better game. Because it's all of this, but condensed into a smaller space over a smaller experience. You don't get sick of running. You don't do the jungle shooting things or raiding. And the story is stupid, but it's like intentionally stupid, so I'm okay with it.
I totally agree
mean?
with that. Like, it's kind of anything like that when it's actually like meant to be stupid and meant to be funny, you're okay with it. But it's like in games that are meant to be serious and meant to be taken seriously, and they throw in that random comic relief part, you're like, what are you doing? So
Well, there's no comic relief in this necessarily. It's just more like the white savior comes in and saves a bunch of poor native indigenous peoples who can't save themselves, and mystical woo-wah tattoo, blah 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 blah. we watch, it's garbage. It's not even interesting. I don't care, like none of it I care about. I'm just
Okay.
Well, it's kind of like me with like when I played Skyrim, right? Like I was talking to people about like the podcast and like, oh, talk about Skyrim and stuff, and it's kind of like that too. The story for me in Skyrim was like, it wasn't that.
Well, I wouldn't say I would say Skyrim. It wasn't like offensive or boring. It was there and it provided context for your actions or for things to do. Here, it's just when the cutscenes happen, I'm just waiting for it to be over so I can go back to do what I was doing before.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense then, yeah.
The only thing that I really didn't like about the game is I felt like the outposts became too repetitive.
That's what I'm saying, man. Blood Dragon, it had just the right amount of outposts, just the right amount of place to explore, it had just the right amount of weapons. You went through it, you were like, I'm getting kind of sick doing these outposts.
Right.
Oh, the game's over. Okay.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed Blood Dragon because it was a different element of that satire that was kind of missing from Far Cry 3, and just the '80s theme with the crazy music and the weaponry and stuff. Well, I think Blood Dragon could have done a little bit more with the weaponry. They could have added a few more guns, but
I think they ran out of '80s mainstays.
They probably did.
No, but let me see. There are like 34 outposts in Far Cry 3, right?
There's a lot.
There's like
A lot.
15 in Blood Dragon.
Yeah, probably 8 or 10, maybe.
And like the hunting for skill progression, like skinning animals and unlocking their stuff. I've only been playing for like maybe 4 or 5 hours. I've already maxed out all of the upgrades.
Well, by just making the you got the shark wallet and everything like that already?
I got pretty much everything already. There's like maybe.
Damn.
This game is still gonna last another like 10 to 15 hours, and the progression system's over already. Like I did like a handful of towers on my way to do a mission all the way on the far end, and I figured, well, I better light up these towers as I go. I've already unlocked all the weapons. As like the second mission. It's not a really well-paced game.
This is like hashtag skilled gamer problems or something.
I don't know. You should have like a loop. But now it's gotten to the point where I have skill points and I can't spend them because they're saying, well, complete more missions before we let you get more skill points. I'm like, oh, okay. Do I have another dream hallucination before I learn more of the native people's magic powers?
I hate games that put that kind of like that cap on you, where you have to complete a certain part of the game to like. So you have like, especially in a game that has any sort of like leveling or experience or anything like that, where they put that cap on you. It's like, well, I've earned this. Like I've obviously done a bunch of stuff to get these points. Why don't you let me spend them? It's like literally what's going to happen is that when you unlock all these, I'm going to max them out right away, and then I'm going to run in the exact same situation that I was in before. Final Fantasy 13 was the exact same way. Like you had like a cap, and where you could level to in each kind of part of the story, and it drove me nuts. It drove me insane. That was beyond the multiple flaws that game had. That was one of the biggest ones. It's like in games, especially RPGs, I'm a grinder. Like, screw it. Yeah, I'll spend the first 10 hours of gameplay doing nothing but grinding so that I can literally just rip through the story. That's how I play RPGs. And it's like, you don't let me do that. It's like, it just drives me nuts. Pardon me?
That's really how you approach every RPG?
Oh yeah, man. The first 10 to 15 hours of gameplay is me getting used to the system, getting used to the engine, and just grinding so that I'm a powerhouse. So that literally first boss comes up, I'm like, no, you're my bitch. Fuck off.
Wow.
Shadow of Mordor actually kind of does that to me a bit too, because you have to gain these things called power points essentially. So there's experience points that gives you attributes, and then there's power points, and you can only do certain missions. Only certain missions and certain things give you power points. So it's I have 8 to 10, I think maybe between 8 and 10 power points attribute points right now that I can't spend on anything because I haven't unlocked the next power level because I gotta progress story and kill certain chieftains and stuff. And it's kind of gay.
That's actually one of the main criticisms I've read about Shadow of Mordor is that it's one of the few games that you don't get as good of an experience of the game if you're really good at it.
Yeah, I've read that too.
Because you're supposed to die so that the orcs can level up and move up in the ranks, and then you get more from killing them later.
Yeah, it's a good thing that I'm pretty shitty at the game, die a lot, so guess it works out in my favor. Yeah, good game though. Good game overall. But yeah, I think experience caps and stuff like that, or kind of what's the word, experience waypoints, I guess almost, or checkpoints almost. Don't do that. Just open it up.
At the same breath though, you're saying you're doing battles on FF10 and you're oh, I'm way too strong for this battle.
Which makes it awesome. Which makes it wicked.
I think that takes away from the experience of the game though.
You're supposed to be oh fuck when you hit a big boss. That's the point.
But okay, so I agree to disagree, because I think though that if I'm gonna spend obviously it's much harder to grind earlier on in the game, right?
Is it though?
It totally is.
No, I think the return on your time investment is higher, absolutely, but if you're talking about experiencing the game, I think you're depriving yourself of the story early on and just focusing on grinding, and then the story and progressing through the game becomes a little less meaningful then.
See, yeah, I agree and I disagree. Obviously, so, super grinding, getting super powerful at the beginning of the game, you don't experience the game itself in terms of the challenge. So I give you that point. I agree with you on that point. However, a certain style games, like RPGs, where you're actually legitimately playing, for me, I play the RPGs for the story. This way, by me doing that, by spending all this time grinding, I can literally actually just plow through a chunk of story and actually, get the story into it. So, that's the thing, right? I think it's a double-edged sword.
I think there's none of this debate should even matter, because maybe you just play games for different reasons. I mean, maybe you just don't care about the story at all, and all you're there is just for these mechanics that you actually love. Who cares? Who are we to sit here and say you should?
I agree. I agree. It is cool though. It's a cool point though to see how people kind of approach games differently though, right?
Oh yeah, totally. But I'm saying
I agree. Exactly. And maybe
that's not the way I would play, but who cares?
And that's maybe.
I only ever found myself grinding. Excuse me. When I got to a point in the game that I couldn't beat, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go back a little bit, beat the shit out of 500 guys, and then come back and see if I can beat the boss once I'm leveled up a little bit.
Yeah, true.
That was always my approach, because to me it would feel like putting the codes in the game Genie the first time you put the game in. No, you don't do that.
Yeah, but you actually have to work within the game and actually spend the time to do that. Where a game Genie, literally, you just you hack the game, right?
Right.
You're legitimately cheating. Like, all this stuff is stuff that, like, when I grind, it's all stuff that I actually worked for.
Right, that's true.
I did, right? So.
Right. Yeah, to each their own then, I guess, on that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, Manny, that's all you're playing is Far Cry 3?
I think that's the latest thing. Did I talk about Bad Company too?
No, you didn't.
Game was a gold.
How was that? Good?
No, I don't know. It was fine. I
Never got...
did like a 3 stars, or like a weak 3 stars if I had to give it a rating.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of the Bad Company games.
Yeah, I mean the story was lame. It was like the worst B-movie action movie, like Delta Force, like that. That quality
Delta Force?
Delta Force or Delta Force 2.
Right.
Those are real movies if you look them up.
The Chuck Norris ones.
Maybe, I don't think. Were they Chuck Norris movies?
Chuck Norris was in Delta Force, yeah.
Maybe one of the sequels without Chuck Norris.
I'll look it up.
Of quality. That's like not even Walker Texas Ranger was in it.
That bad.
It was just forgettable. Like, we need to save the world because EMP super weapons. I'm like, oh.
Oh. Well, EMP.
I was one day away from a tyrant. This was my last mission. Like, literally, those are like lines in the game.
Wow, Lebanese terrorists. Yeah, the first Delta Force was Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin, and it was about a 707 aircraft jetliner on its way from Athens to Rome and then to New York City. Is hijacked by Lebanese terrorists.
Wow, when did this come out?
1986.
But still, like, that level, like, oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
But quick.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway.
All right, well, I have been playing, I've been on the Retrocade quite a bit the past couple days, mainly because my 360 is only hooked up in my living. I'm all moved in and a lot of stuff has been done. I'm just now kind of getting around to lazy unpacking of my new house. So as systems and games are coming out, I've had the Retrocade out and hooked up since the day I moved in, so I kind of just hop on there for 20 minutes and mess around. But I was playing a little bit of Skate.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I was playing Skate 2 today for a little while. I downloaded that for $5 from the Xbox Live Store.
Nice.
That's a little gem in the series. I really love the Skate series. I didn't play 3 too much. I know I've played it before, and I'm probably going to re-download it. But 1 and 2 were phenomenal games. It's so much better than the Pro Skater series. And I mean, I hold the Pro Skater series in pretty high regard because that was a big part of my childhood with my friends. But just the elements and the technique and stuff like that with Skate, you could just tell that so much more went into that game. I like how it's much harder to pull off tricks than Pro Skater, when you can link together like 400 trick combos and do like quadruple heel flips to backslide nose grinds and dark slides to backflips off. Like shit, it's just it's like crazy. The realism in Skate is so much better. So I've been messing around with that a little bit and just some random stuff. I played a little Ghosts and Goblins.
Nice.
In honor of
I love those games.
Those are wicked.
Yeah.
I was saying with Smash Brothers last time we were having the conversation with Mega Man being part of it and some of the Capcom guys being in it. I would like to see Arthur in a Smash Bros. Game.
Arthur would be a very unique addition, and I think that would be awesome from a nostalgic retro point of view.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah, he was.
That was fun.
Yeah, he was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and he was wicked. He was a fun character. So, but the way he would translate into the Smash world, I think would be great. But
it would be so awesome because, on his last life, he could lose his armor and be naked in his underwear, like he is in the game. Just running around in his undies.
That'd be super cool.
Like over 100%.
Yeah.
They could do a lot of cool stuff with that. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. If we have any news topics for the week, I suggest All right, Zach, you have the
Okay,
floor.
well, first of all, one of the big things right now for me is that I was looking at some of the leaked information about Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Yes, I know they're stupid names, but whatever. They actually this time they let you fly in it, and I'm not talking about fly like the move fly where it just brings you from one town to another. Like they actually let you go up in the air with your Pokemon and actually bomb around
What?
with it. Yeah, yeah. So that's a super cool mechanic. At least in my opinion, I think that's super cool. That's something that
cool.
people are like, oh my god, like I have this ledge here that I can't jump off like over, but Charizard has fly. When he could
So
literally
you
be
can
like,
actually
oh,
go to a route and not just a city?
well, don't like I don't know the
Oh, that'd be
whole
sweet.
I don't know the whole details of it, but you can fly in it. Like there's screenshots, there's gameplay. Now the way it's looking, that it's only with certain Pokemon that you can do it with. However, though, it lets you bomb around the map in like actually up in the air, and instead of you like running along the route, you're actually flying, which is something like a huge criticism that Pokemon's had for quite some time.
That's so cool if that's true.
So I think that's super cool.
That is pretty sweet, yeah.
And I mean, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Pokemon's wicked, and I think like them like there's been recent talks with like how they're doing this revamped version of Ruby and Sapphire. Pardon me. And if you had like pretty much with everybody who's a hardcore Pokemon fan, if you had to choose your least favorite Pokemon games, it would be Ruby and Sapphire. So the fact that they're putting a lot of work into this remaster, or I guess a whole redo, shows that they kinda get that, and they're trying really hard. So I think it's gonna be super cool. Like some of the new Mega Evolutions have been
There's
leaked
been
and stuff.
so many of them.
Yeah, and they're all super cool. Like I don't know, like it's Pokemon. It's one of those things like they can do no wrong for me. Like it's like Mega. It's like
Mega Man.
yeah, just under Mega Man is Pokemon. Like they can do no wrong. Like I grew up with it. Like it's perfect. Like it's awesome. But the fact that they're still. It's been what 25? No, not 25. Probably about 20 years I think now that Pokemon's been out. Something like that.
Probably around there, yeah.
And yeah, they're still doing new things. I mean, like yeah, it's the same game over and over again, but then still to try and be a little bit innovative and like try and do new cool things. Like I'm pretty pumped. So I think that's gonna be cool. It's getting really good response. The fact that you can do that. So that's one piece of news that I have. I have tons, but we'll cut it short.
We can like
though.
speed through some of them, I'm sure.
Gotta get some bullet points going.
PlayStation TV. It's getting pretty good reviews. Not perfect, obviously. Nothing's perfect, but it's been getting pretty good reviews. Apparently, the streaming feature in it, from like streaming like PS4 and PS3 games to your PS TV, is actually pretty fluid. Obviously, there's a couple hiccups, but firmware updates and stuff like that. But a $99 price point, not too shabby for that, which could essentially replace needing a second PS4 console in your home. Pretty solid, and the factor that you can actually like stream Vita games on your big screen, super cool.
We'll be getting one.
Yeah, super cool idea. So that came out in North America, I believe yesterday was the release date of that. So people are pretty pumped on it. People think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Would you guys be interested in something like that?
Probably not. I never bought into the Apple TV or the Sony TV or anything like that. I'm still a very black and white type person where I think gaming should be done on consoles and TV should be watched on TV kind of a thing. I don't really like to cross the median. The 360 and Xbox One dashboards are enough to kind of like cross that that median where there's advertising and all this other shit that you can do, and Netflix and Amazon. You can do all that from there, which is cool. It's nice to have, and it's easy. But for me, it's just as simple to turn on the TV as it is to kind of like have to go get another PS4 console, to handle.
For us, we don't have cable. Like we've been just using streaming services for like 3 years now. Yeah. So like cutting the cord in that aspect from cable. These types of things like the Roku and all that are interesting. I mean, we have enough consoles that they do the same thing, but it's pretty cool with the added gaming features to have a little cheap device like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, again, I guess that's another like to each their own type scenario.
I would caution people against getting it as a streaming box because it's not the best streaming box. I mean, if you really are thinking this is gonna be my Roku / Apple TV / which was just announced today, the new, what's it called, the Android TV or $99 set-top box. Google just announced today. You can get an optional controller for it. It plays Android games. It has a full app store, and you can stream stuff like HBO Go, Netflix, Hulu Plus, all the people you would expect. I mean, if you're looking for a streaming box, there are probably much better options.
Chromecast, right? Like way cheaper
Including,
price point, and
well, Chromecast is a little.
No, we don't get as many options in Canada with streaming services. Like we do have Hulu through interesting channels, but it's only supposed to be available in the States.
Which was disappointing when I ran, because initially the selling point on this one was like, oh, here's Sony's foray into set-top boxes, right around the time that Amazon announced the Fire TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a market to jump into, so.
It doesn't even do 1080p though. It tops out on 1080i, which was strange.
Yeah.
I checked the website and the FAQ. They don't even highlight any of their TV.
So it's more of a TV device for gamers, then, I guess is how it's positioned.
Sort of. But then you would say that's already my PS4 too, right?
Yeah.
Because that does all those things and it streams stuff.
For me, literally, and it's sad to say, for me the selling point to it was legitimately the being able to put Vita games on the TV.
And I think that's the thing for most people then too, because that is what it does, and that's the only thing. That's the only place you can get that.
Yeah. So I mean, the price point for just that is a little high. I mean, I'm gonna try and utilize it for other features. I will try, but I mean that's the main point that I'm getting at. Sarah and I were talking about, we were joking around, like we were talking about, like we both have birthdays and Christmas coming up. Well, everybody's got Christmas coming up, but we both have birthdays coming up. I'm like, it's one of those things that I probably wouldn't spend money on myself to buy it, but if somebody wanted to get me one,
who's somebody? Your wife? Because
yeah, to a certain extent.
So are you tricking yourself into buying your own thing, even though you guys have the exact same pool of money?
Well, to be fair, I really want a Vita, but I can't justify buying one for myself, so he's going to buy me a Vita, and I'm going to buy
you guys share the same finances. You have the same pool of resources.
It's a mental game.
Yeah.
That's what I never understood about people.
Don't ruin this for us, okay? Don't ruin this for us.
I've always felt privileged that I could, when I was growing up, if I really wanted something, I could just get it. So when Christmas or my birthday rolled around, they seemed like completely arbitrary dates. And we never did presents or anything like that because it's like, well, I already have everything I want, and I got everything I already wanted already. Why? There's no need. I felt privileged for that. I really
did. You can't buy him anything because he already has everything he wants, and it's so frustrating.
Who?
My dad.
Oh. Well, make him something.
Macaroni necklaces.
Yeah, that's happening.
Nice.
Maybe 25.
If you guys didn't see, there's the Nexus player linked in the chat, and that's the brand new streaming. That's the brand new thing that was announced today, along with the Nexus 9 and the Nexus 6.
Yeah.
Nexus 6. I just don't like that it's so big.
So people don't know what it is. The Nexus 6 is the new flagship phone from Google. It is a 5.9-inch device based off the Moto X design made by Motorola. And it will be using Android and Lollipop.
Lollipop. I like that.
I mean, specs-wise, looks pretty cool, but it's just too big for me. That's kind of the thing.
That's what she said.
Yeah, in other news, too, speaking...
There's just highlight that there is a gaming factor to this Nexus thing. So anything on the Google Play Store that currently supports a controller, you can play on this Nexus player device.
Oh, that's...
And they are highlighting the fact that you can get a controller, you can play games, you can share save points, play online, share your achievements between devices, and of course, if you are more of a casual person, but you do want to play the occasional game on your TV, you totally can through San Andreas, Max Payne, Deus Ex, the Deus Ex mobile game, stuff like that. That has controller support. You can play that on your TV if you're an Android person. And of course, they are highlighting the fact that if you do want to use this as a streaming service, you got all of your Food Network, Netflix, YouTube, Hulu Plus, PBS. You
That's pretty neat. What's the price point on the TV?
It is 1 gig of RAM, 8 gigs of storage, 1.8 gigahertz quad-core Intel Atom processor.
Nice. And I'm assuming the controller's extra to get.
Yeah.
It's probably like $30, but since it's Android, you could probably hook up any Bluetooth controller you have, including your PlayStation 3.
That's pretty badass. I like this.
So I would say, as you guys are Google people, and you do want to cut the cord, maybe this is a better option. Just something quiet. You don't have to run your PS4 for. You don't have to worry about the fans or running it out, or honestly just saving a few watts.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys care about
this news, so thank you so much for sharing that.
Yep.
Well, shit,
that's what I always say though. Like, I'm not the biggest Google guy, but this who is in that ecosystem and cares about this kind of stuff more so than the Amazon Fire TV, which is really like a U.S. thing. Like, Amazon's terrible outside of the U.S.
Yeah, no, that's no good for us up here.
Yeah. Cool. So there's that. And you were saying I guess I'll let you guys get back to your stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, the Nexus 9 really quickly. It's just a 8.9-inch tablet. It's lighter. It's made out of metal. What you expect from other Android tablets, except it's 9 inches.
That's pretty cool. We actually just got a Nexus 7 in my office, and it's neat, but I don't know, like, comparing it to my phone, like, it's just a slightly larger version of my Nexus 5, and I don't know, I want like a tablet that small.
Nexus 9? I mean, with the Nexus 6, who needs a Nexus 7? Actually, if I'm looking at this site, it seems like they don't even sell the
I don't know
Nexus
how
7
we
anymore.
got one. I think it was through, like, Staples.
Well, I actually
Like today.
recently just got rid of my iPad, which when I got it, I absolutely adored it. Like, I used the hell out of it. But even still having, like, a larger phone, like, even, like, the Nexus 5, like, the size of the Nexus 5, I felt like I wasn't using it anymore. Like, I never touched it because, like, even the screen size on my Nexus 5 for me is personally, it works. Like, it's good. Whereas, like, with an iPad, like, I mean, it was sweet, but I already have it in, like, something big enough to do everything that I want to do in my pocket. So even upsizing from that even seems like...
We talked about a bit before how, the middle of a market gets squeezed out. That's what happened with netbooks. So the tablet space is interesting because it's right now between the phone and like a full-blown computer or laptop. So it's going to be interesting to see how phones keep getting bigger and tablets, like, where do they fit?
I think like I can't remember which analyst or pundit said this, but it's sort of like laptops took the desktop PCs took the places of old mainframe, then laptops took the place of desktop PCs, and then tablets took the place of the laptop. Is going to take the place of small screen. It's just the nature of the business, right?
Yeah.
Something keeps on getting supplanted.
Evolving, man.
Yep, and I like that they're all still available, so you can decide which one along the spectrum is right for you, or maybe you can get a couple.
Oh, exactly. And like Zach did, when something stops being useful, you flip it and you get something new, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, so moving away from that one then, and still speaking of handhelds, there's been a lot of news about the new 3DS that's coming out. And apparently, so one of my biggest critiques about the 3DS and the 3D feature of it is that when you turned on the 3D and you moved it any sort of way, or like if you're lying in bed, like it gave you that weird kind of like triple image effect.
Yeah.
Apparently, the new 3DS has a head tracking feature, so kind of like adjust the 3D to your focal point, and apparently it works. All the reviews are saying so far, like the preliminary reviews at least, are saying that it works and it's good.
Interesting.
Yeah, so for me, I think maybe I would try to
actually turn the 3D on.
Yeah, I never used the 3D on my 3DS,
Yeah.
so yeah. But yeah, so that's
cool.
news. I think that's cool that they actually are like the 3D technology, even though I think we can all agree that in the terms of like TV and stuff as a media, that's really not it's not catching hold so much. But we're at least with something like this, like something that's a game system, it's got a neat little gimmick. This time it'll actually work.
Right.
So I think that's kind of cool too. Other news too. So Destiny put out some numbers lately, saying that on average per day it has 3.2 million players every single day. This is a game that's been out for what is it now? 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
3 weeks to a month, maybe, which is pretty solid.
It was a huge release.
Yeah. But that's the thing though, right? Is that it was a huge release. However, though, it's almost a month has gone by, and usually after that point, at least for me, I feel like that's when you see the longevity of a game. And they still have 3.2 million players logging in every day. However, I do want to throw a counterpoint. Additionally, Super Smash Brothers did over 3 million in sales of units. So does that mean that there's as many Smash players as there are Destiny players?
Well, I guess we have to wait a month to see how many are still logging in or whatever.
So yeah, but it was cool kind of seeing that comparison, right? This is a true testament more than Smash Brothers. Obviously, I'm biased, I love Smash, but this is a true testament actually to Destiny and how well it's doing. This is a brand new game, a brand new title, brand new franchise. 3.2 million players. That's pretty awesome. So the guys at Destiny should be giving themselves a big old pat on the back because that's pretty epic. 3.2 million players.
Let's hope they made back their 500 million or whatever that they spent on it.
Oh.
I'm sure they have at this point.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Actually, and then in terms of another MMO, World of Warcraft. Which I personally thought was on the decline, and it was for a while, is actually now they're seeing actually some of their most peak numbers in the last couple of years.
Is that because of the new
in light of the
releases?
expansion? Yeah, in light of the expansion. So, Eric, I know you've never played an MMO. Manny, have you ever played an MMO at all? Ever experienced that at all?
I'm familiar with Warcraft.
Yeah?
Yeah, I played Diablo 1, if that's considered.
No, it's not.
And,
I played Maple Story once.
Oh, there we go. We finally have David. David's mic is actually working.
Yeah, I was trying to be patient with you guys. I didn't want to just jump in and interrupt.
No, that's how you got to do it here, Dave.
We saw your mic flickering on and off.
Yeah, I kept leaving in and out because I needed to update my Google Plus app, and I didn't know. So I was like, dang, I can see y'all, but I can't hear y'all. So I was asking Eric, I was like, how does this work, man? But yeah, thank you for inviting me and everything like that. I caught up on all the episodes on YouTube. I was like, man, I like these guys. I'm watching all these episodes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love Manny's witty humor. But to go back to what you was talking about Destiny, though. My opinion on Destiny is a little bit different. I think Destiny has that many users because most people with Destiny have a PS4 and there's no games on PS4 right now. And I think that's the biggest reason why they have that many concurrent users. I think if Destiny would have maybe dropped at the end of this year, around the time maybe the Call of Duty and the Halo Master Chief Collection, I think it would be way different numbers. I think it came out in the perfect time.
And so you think your prediction is that when those games come out that the numbers are going to drop, you think?
Definitely. I think once people have a choice, of more things to play, because, they're not going to play Killzone because it's pretty much trash. And everybody with a PS4 is so obsessed with 1080p, 60 frames per second. And once they heard Killzone was 720p or 900p or whatever, they kind of threw that under the bus and was like, oh, well, we don't like it anymore. So, everything is turning into resolution versus frames per second instead of about gameplay. And I really wanted to get back to where it was, the golden age, where we didn't really care what the graphics were. When I was on PS1, PS2, I probably shouldn't say this online, but I have a modded PS2 still to this day. I play a lot of Japanese exported games. When I was in high school, I used to burn them on DVD discs. I used to sell them. I used to mod PSPs, and I used to put video games on the memory stick, stuff like that. So I used to love playing all of these games that we would never have no chance to play without having to pay like some, over-the-top expensive fee, like maybe an extra $50 to get it shipped here or something. No one wants to spend $120 to play a $40 game.
Right.
So, but let me get back to my point. But I wish things would get back to where, we didn't have online back in the day. I mean, I know we're older now, so we can't really come to each other's houses. So we're kind of reliant on online and co-op and stuff like that. But my thing is, if you're going to make a game and make it only online, then make it only online. Don't have a campaign that's ass. Don't put some of your resources towards something that's trash. You could perfect the online infrastructure instead.
I feels like you're picking like 3 different arguments here, and they're all trying to. And your thesis statement is things were better back when I was a kid. Like, which one is it? Resolutions, online. I mean, what's going on here, man? Pick one and stick to it.
We were kids.
Well, my thing is, it was better when we were a kid. Part of it was because we were kids.
Because we were kids. But that's life. Everything, man. Everything was always better before we were kids.
But still, there are games that come out now that brings me back to when I was a kid, and I'll go, man. Now this is something I probably would have still played when I was a kid. But it seems like every game now they're trying to compete with Call of Duty, and that's a mistake.
I don't know, man. I really do. I know, man.
Excuse me?
I agree, because there are a lot of people who do not care about resolution or frame rate, and a lot of them who really are playing on PC anyway. They're playing games in person with friends. Look at the Smash Brother community that they're doing, that you guys are involved in Kitchener-Waterloo, where you guys are having these local tournaments and doing this stuff. I mean, look at something like BlizzCon, where tickets sell out like in 5 minutes, so that these people who do play across vast distances fly in from around the world so they can be with each other for like a weekend and enjoy each other's company and do these things together.
But I think that backs up David's point, is that, we are longing for that more personal touch.
There is no longing, though. We're already, a lot of people are getting it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you guys really longing for it? You guys are getting what you need and what you want.
I think there's merits to both sides. I agree with Manny in the sense that there is a huge community that really 900p versus 1080p doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like Brody.
I would say that's the vast majority.
Yeah, and Brody's one of those people who claims, I haven't seen him do it. I do want to put him to his test, but I want to see if Brody can tell the difference between 900 and 1080. Because for me personally, I can't tell the difference. Even still, I found out recently. So this isn't part of my news thing, but Final Fantasy 13 has been recently released on PC, and it's saying that it can stream up to 1080p. And I was like, oh shit, Final Fantasy 13 wasn't 1080p to begin with? Well, fuck.
Yeah, that was news to me, too.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, I can't tell the difference. I don't care. I do not care. Because, I mean, like, in this topic that we choose our top 5. None of the top 5 that I have are anything past PS1. You know what I mean? Like, so graphics don't matter to me. Resolution doesn't matter to me. For me, it's all about gameplay. It's all about story. It's mechanics, like things like that. That's what makes a good game. But on David's point, one of the things that he touched on that I agree is that I think that like if you're gonna make an online game, make an online game. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
why does Call of Duty have a campaign? Who the F plays?
I play Call of Duty campaigns.
There is.
Who are you?
There is that demographic.
I'm the person that you guys always say doesn't exist. And I'm glad that I'm here on so many of these kind of podcasts to make everyone take a step back and go, you guys are making gross generalizations.
I feel like I should make a minority joke, but I
was gonna compare more like a unicorn.
Not at all. But once again, confirmation bias. Just because the people around you don't care, or you don't notice the people who do care and mention it, and you discard those things. I mean, a lot of the internet's all confirmation. Probably story we've already want to tell, and we already created fun.
Well, no, but I was going to say with Manny, I was actually going to agree with Manny on that, actually. Though we debate a lot, we get into heated debates about things, I actually, out of no disrespect to Eric or Charles or Brody, like what Manny brings to the table, I do like, because he's not like 90% of the people that I play video games with and that are in our circle is that he's got a completely different like idea about games and why he plays games and the games that he does play. And I appreciate that because it is literally and any time that it seems that we're getting heated, I think that most people can agree that like we're just passionate about what we speak about. But it's good. It's for me, it's healthy. You get to see both sides of the spectrum.
Even when he hates on JRPGs.
Oh, absolutely. JRPGs, to the vast majority, I could to literally we in that sense we're the minority. JRPGs to the majority.
It shifted.
Yeah, to the majority of video game players, most of them are like, oh my god, it's so Japanese and lame. Like Manny jokes about it all the time. But it's true to the vast majority, and like that's the thing though. This is what this whole podcast is about, and it's like bringing like with Manny being back, it shows us that there is like, it was so friendly and just like we're gonna talk about stuff and agree on everything, and everything's gonna be hunky dory. Then Manny comes back, he's like, no, just like but that's what we needed. Like that's the whole point to this. We all play games for different reasons. And to me, as I said, back to like it was a whole loop around, but back to my main point about what David was saying with the whole online thing, is I agree with that point. I think with Call of Duty games, I've always said it. This is just me, and this isn't me as a video game player. This is me as somebody who's in an advertising and for use of using like a marketing background, things that we talk. I feel like focused on a campaign-based like Call of Duty and make that like have a developer focus on that and then focus on have a completely separate title that is an online basis. That's my personal opinion on the matter.
Out instead of just every year churning out kind of split experience.
No, let me just say for the record that I've never typecasted Manny as an outcast because agree with the majority, because I think Manny is actually more in line with more people that are more open-minded, more unbiased towards gaming. So he actually represents that, and that's kind of along with me in the same community too. Like when I bought Grand Theft Auto 5, like I was hyped for the single player, for the story mode. Like I didn't really give a shit about the multiplayer right away. And I play the Call of Duty single player mode and story modes and all that shit because I appreciate games for their entirety. I don't really try to typecast something and say, well, I need to play Call of Duty because the online's so crazy and there's so many people that I'm going to be able to play with and fuck up and laugh and tell them that I fucked their mom and stuff. I don't I care about those elements, but I'm also intelligent enough to understand that there's so much more that goes into that, and that the community, I think the gaming community as a whole, there is a bigger portion of people that don't subject themselves to only isolating towards one element of a game. I think, and Manny is intelligent enough, and Manny does something that a lot of people don't do, and that's he educates himself on like every single element of a game. I think before he kind of goes into it, while he's in it, and then even after the fact too. Well,
even still, when even last time when we were having that little spiel about the iPhone 6, right? One of the main points.
I've been holding that in for months.
But
that was fun for me. I didn't know.
One of the main points that I brought up with you is that what I appreciated about you is that you are educated about it. Like that's the thing, is that you're not gonna talk about something if you don't know about it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not calling any of us dumb. I'm just saying that Manny is an overachiever and knows like everything about everything. But that's great because
it's my fault. That's my fault.
Because I know that if I have a question about a JRPG or a game that I haven't played or something like that, I know that Manny's somebody that I can hit up and be like, dude, who is this guy, or is this a good developer, or whatever, And Manny would.
When it comes to JRPGs, it's proven that Pycoon's the one to go to about that, because she brings up shit that none of us even heard about, and we're just like, oh.
Well, I didn't know who the hell Pycoon was until the last podcast, so.
So here's the thing. Let's put it in a context. Actually, this is one thing I was actually discussing with a friend the other day, and we were talking about like types of gamers that are out there. And you'll get this. What I actually compared it to is music. Video games are like music.
Finally, and I'm so happy that because that seriously, you're absolutely right, and we should be happy to the point that gaming has become so broad that no matter what your particular little weird niche is, you can find it, you can live in it, you can be happy there, and you can find a community of people who will join you in it.
Exactly. And people listen to certain types of things for certain types of reasons. There are those like literally legitimate like just vanilla style casual gamers who like we compare them to like the radio top 40 people. They're like they listen to the radio, that's what they listen to, that's what they like. And who are we to say anything against that, right? And then there's people like so think about like the huge like the in-depth like I'll only play certain indie games that are like not
those
super
are your hipsters.
Hipsters, and you compare to the people who are into like this game needs to have the most like groundbreaking mechanics because they're like into those like the
those
tech
are your
metalheads.
Those are the super tech metal guys.
Yeah, and like that's what it is. Like that's legitimately what it is.
It's
like
cool to see that though break into many subgenres and subcultures because it used to be just gamers and that was the subculture. So that's so cool.
Yeah, and so that's the thing, right? It like dawned on me the other day because I was talking about it. I was talking to a friend who plays in a band. He came down. They all came down because they were playing a show, a local music festival here. And we were talking about it. I used to play in a band. And I was talking about how much into video games I am. He's like, man, all you do is like you talk about video games, you play video games, you do paintings based on video games, you do podcasts based on video games. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, video games are my life. Like that's what I do. And I was talking about it like in comparison to the band, and it totally made sense to him. Like, take that effort that you put on music right now, what you're doing for music, and like shift that to video games. And instantly, you just saw this light bulb go above his head, and he's like, I get it. And that's kind of how I felt about it. The whole video game community now, because it's so big, it's the exact same thing as music, man. Everybody's got their niche, and they'll fight tooth and nail about it. It's like for me, like even the way I was about about music growing up. Somebody insulted Blink-182. I was like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit. I hate you. You're dead to me. Like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of the way I am about certain video games. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Final Fantasy.
About Blink-182. That's all I gotta say.
But there you go, right? But again, I've gotten older now, and I've realized that not everybody likes Blink-182, and that's cool. Like that's.
I will say, I feel like I was privileged growing up in Los Angeles because it is such a diverse city. Like my high school, like when I watch TV movies and I see these ideas of these cliques and people getting.
Is okay.
That story's done then. No, I'll get right back to you, David. I just want to I feel privileged that like in LA there is no like, oh, look at these people hate. It's just so broad and diverse that whatever you're into, you go do it. No one gives you any grief or shit about it at all, no matter what you. High school in LA, over 3,000 people, there were just groups of people who like make murder with another group or Armenians. Oh, I didn't know those guys were okay. Those, that's like as far as it would go. Like the most segregation were the gangs, and even then, you could totally hang out with them. Nobody would even care. So I've just taken that my whole life.
Well,
it's just a LA thing. No, but it's no skin off my back. What you do, I don't care.
And that's what you do with Manny is like culturally, like you're like fucking LA, man. Like when
that's
you think
the mecca.
Like when you think of like diversity, like that's the mecca of it. Like yeah, like you said, no, but seriously, like there's so many vast people who come there, and it's like, and that's they just like you said, they do their thing, and that's it. Like,
my high school had like 650 people, so very different story.
Yeah. So David, what were you gonna say? You said you had a point you wanted to make?
What I was gonna say was basically to go back on his point. I value Manny's opinions a lot on these podcasts because he's like the ultimate devil's advocate. He gives you the half full, half empty. I like that. And I like, debating with people like this because it allows me to see from a different point of view. But on the perspective of the multiplayer, single player, the reason why I really brought that up was I seen Titanfall essentially make a good multiplayer, but then have the tacked on single player, which really was just a multiplayer, but they tried to, talk a little bit more and then make you think it's a single player. Mm-hmm. And then campaign. And then you have a game like Destiny where I really, really thought this game was going to be the bomb. And, the expectations factor is too high, and that's to happen when the first year cycle of a new system is going to happen. People are going to want to play that game to justify their $400, $500 purchase for some people. But in this case, like, man, I just look at it like, why is Call of Duty, why does every world premiere for a Call of Duty game show campaign footage? We really want to see the online footage. We want to know if there's IEDs. You know what I'm saying? We want to know if there's maps created for campers. We want to know these things. We don't really care about the campaign because we know if the online is terrible, we're not even going to get a chance to. We're not even going to buy it for the campaign. In most cases.
Say we, though, but when you say we, okay, there you go. You want to know why they show that campaign trailer first? Because people like me or people like my friends who maybe buy it once every year, every other year, see that Kevin Spacey is in it, and we see some cool future robots and go, hey, the new Call of Duty's coming out. That looks pretty cool. I'll keep an eye on it. That's why.
Different Kevin Spacey, different folks. Kevin Spacey can't be in online matchmaking with you. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah. But if you think
terrible,
you think that all of the reason why Call of Duty is a cultural phenomenon, a culture, is because it has both, and both appeal to different audiences, and people do like I'll jump into multiplayer a few times for maybe a month, then I'll stop playing. But a lot of those people feel like they got their money worth and they got their value.
Well, I feel like, to jump on what you just said, I feel like most people, though, that play the campaign, if they're either gonna play it already or they're already set in their ways and they're not gonna play it at all.
I feel the same about the multiplayer people, though. Like, you're going to play the next iteration no matter what, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. I think, in my personal opinion, I think the people who buy the game every year and who actually play the campaign through and finish it make the most sense. In my opinion. That's my opinion on the situation. Because they're actually playing, in my opinion,
a new story.
They're playing the game. They're playing a new story. They're playing new missions where pretty much every iteration of Call of Duty has been the same multiplayer with a little bit new mechanics. Like, they always improve on stuff.
Or ruin stuff in Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
And it's a different firing rate on your handgun is a game changer.
Well, no, but they're still buying it.
But that's the thing, right? So for me, when it comes to competitive games, and I know we're not comparing online, but I'm going to go back to Smash, right? One of my biggest critiques with the Smash crowd, which is the exact polar opposite issue that I have with Call of Duty, is that they're stuck on one game that came out forever ago, and they're not even Brawl sucked. I'll fully admit that. But there's still the game's not even out. With the Wii U version, it's not even out, and there's already the Melee crowd that's being like, "Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is for me." And it's like
the argument, right? It's like I don't know if I ever from Radiohead. I don't know if it's anything like their old stuff.
But it's funny though, right? It's like where with Call of Duty, you not think that with like all the reiterations though. Like, here's the thing: when one Call of Duty game, when one Call of like a new one comes out, the servers pretty much go quiet on the other one, and continue so. Like.
For like a month, and then people get tired of it and go right back to the old one.
But then even still though, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like pick a game that you want to be competitive with and go with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the one thing that, as much as I hate about it, that I got to give credit to the Smash community, is that they found their game, they found their niche, and that's it. That's the platform. That's it.
But my whole thing is, they knew how terrible Ghost was, at least in the court of public opinion. Like, how come they didn't try to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, in terms of change, yeah, they made it more futuristic, but in all reality, though, because Ghost did so bad, you would think that they would, with that in mind, you would think they would try something new for their, world premiere trailer. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're really just getting the same dose of exposure like we always get with the Call of Duty, advertisement train. We get the world premiere trailer with the campaign. We get a little bit, a gun here and there, a new little outfit here and there, telling us what different modes they have here and there. But for the most part, they don't really tell us all the stuff we're gonna hate until we buy it, and then that leads to people hating the game more because they hid it from us, and then that creates the big problem. It's like, man, just let us know. Is this gonna have IEDs or not? Is this gonna have claymores or not? Is this gonna have a lot of dark corners or not? Are you gonna have what's that perk called where you can hear people with your mic real easily?
Eavesdropping.
I forgot what it was called.
It's called eavesdropping.
David, you gotta remember
it's called
one
eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called awareness or something like that.
You don't get that big as a game or as a platform without selling to a broad swath of people. If they really were just catering just to the people who really do care about listening perks or IEDs, the game never would have gotten that big. They would never had that big of a budget to develop it. It wouldn't be this big franchise that's keeping Activision afloat. It wouldn't be any of these things. It's because they have to reach and hit many different target demographics. This is why you get Kevin Spacey in your world premiere trailer talking about power after he just did House of Cards. I mean, you could disagree with that. I mean, if that's the point you're going to disagree with, fine, they shouldn't be doing that. But do you have to understand why? You're asking, like, I don't understand why. Like, that's why. Because you and your friends aren't the only people buying this. A lot of people that you would never consider gamers are the Madden. I buy Madden every year or every other year. I buy in a few times. I go through the campaign. I had a great time, but the next week I'm out going to bars picking up women. There are plenty of those for whom that is the entirety of the Call of Duty experience.
My question for you, Manny, is how long do you think Call of Duty will last as being the #1 shooting game, like most popular? Do you think it will last this generation, or do you think it will die off slowly?
Eventually, I mean, that's just sort of what Activision does, right? They'll run series to the ground. The one reason.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Guitar Hero. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm so sad that that's dead. For the record.
You can't even sell those plastic guitars. Like, if you give them
to
the dealer or something like that, they won't take them.
If you have them, I'll take them. I need some.
That's the plastic instruments anymore.
Oh yeah, the store you work at, they don't deal in any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were the last hope. We were the last hope, and people got really bummed out with us when we stopped taking the Guitar Hero guitars. Yeah, they were not happy with us. But it's like literally there is no market for it anymore. Nobody cares.
Except me. Send them to me.
I have no idea how many times I tried to pawn this, man.
Give it to me, David.
Look at all this dust, man.
So that's the thing, though. Like, how long until they run into the ground? They will, until someone new comes along, and then they'll be the best or a top for a while, or the market will diffuse again, like it always seems to do, and then it'll be a new thing that we never even thought of. This is the next big thing.
I think Call of Duty. I mean, is going to be around for a while. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I think at least another decade worth of games. I think.
But at what point do they stop selling more and more with every iteration?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's I agree. I agree with you, but even still they're going to keep doing it, and there's going to be those people, right? Like we were comparing it to music, there's going to be those top 40 radio people who are going to be like, "Oh, it's a new Call of Duty. It's going to be awesome. Let's get it." Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be those people. Like, they're never going to go away. Like, it's like all those hardcore like the top 40 gamers who played that one Final Fantasy one time and heard that Final Fantasy VII is the best game that ever came out ever. And they're like, oh, I played that once. It was awesome. So whenever a new Final Fantasy comes out, I'll pick it up. I'll play it for like 3 hours and be like, I don't get this. Why are their eyes so big? And why do they have such crazy colored hair? And then put it down and never play it again. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of the way it is. Like working in a video game store, like the stigma behind certain games too, that people come in and they're like, yeah, I want to trade in Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, cool, I'll give you $15 for it. They're like, 15? This game is worth like 200. This is Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, you're crazy.
It's a greatest hits copy. That's meh.
Like, you know what? Even still, Black Label Final Fantasy VII, we sell at my store for $39.99.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
but again, it's that top 40, like those people who think that like it's got that premium on it when it doesn't. It's like it's a game.
But to be fair, you do put it on a pedestal yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a fantastic game, but it's not. It's not worth $5.
That's the thing, right? It's like it's being realistic about it. It's like for me being like, oh, one of my favorite bands is Blink-182. You've probably never heard of them. It's like, what, fucking stupid? Everybody's heard of Blink-182. You know what I mean? It's like Final Fantasy VII. It's like, oh, Final Fantasy VII, this is a rare game. It's like everybody had that game. Everybody had it. People who didn't know what Final Fantasy was has that game. Like it was just that game. It's like the Call of Duties, right? That's what I'm comparing it to. It's now the Call of Duty.
That was the GoldenEye 007 of the PS1. Like
Exactly. Like that's just pretty much it, right? There's always going to be those people who are always going to buy those games, and I agree with Manny. Yeah, the sales will start to eventually die out, but we're not going to see Call of Duty go anywhere anytime soon. There's always going to be those diehard fans. It's like, maybe this one's going to be better. Maybe this one's going to be that saving grace, that hand of hope that's going to redeem the entire franchise.
I don't even think they need redemption, though. Like, I think you're painting them in an overly negative position because although we don't play it a lot, it's like, you know...
Maybe I am, but I personally don't, because I don't play Call of Duty.
It doesn't need redemption, though. It's just like this... Compare Call of Duty to sports games, because those come out every year, too. Or... You know, it's like these people, they want to be a part of the next thing, and that's fine.
Okay, sorry. So in my just, again, like, this was me talking as a video, because, like, I bought Ghost. I did. I played it, for like 3 hours, and it was literally, I got it because it was literally the only thing that was out for PS4 when I got the PS4. I got that and Black Flag. Played maybe both for a couple hours at a time. And
Assassin's Creed also comes out every year. So maybe what the argument here is that development cycles should be longer so you can deliver a higher value product.
No, I don't think argument was a proper term for it. I think we're just talking about it.
Well, no.
And it's like that's the thing though, right? It's like, but what I was trying to say in the grand scheme of things is that Call of Duty Ghosts as an installment was negatively received as a whole. I find. I felt that and when I mean everybody, I do mean everybody. I think like the entire Call of Duty community, including all the different subgenres and why people play the game for different reasons, I think as a whole, most of them felt like it was lacking. So that's what I'm trying to say is that like this is going to be their what I'm talking about, the redemption thing. That's why I'm talking about it in that kind of connotation.
This is their put up or shut up, because now they don't have the excuse of Infinity Ward being split up and then remerged with Sledgehammer,
exactly.
blah, blah, blah. There's no excuse.
Yeah,
but sometimes pushing a game back longer can add more expectations, though.
It can, well, of course, it's going to add more expectations, but then there's going to be a point where people are like, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Because, I mean, look at Drive Club, for instance. That was supposed to come out a long time ago. They push it back twice, and then they push it back again just for the free edition. It's like, wow, like, if I can buy the retail version, how is the free edition with less cars and less content harder to play? Like, I mean, harder to function. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I actually zero.
I can't speak on that one.
I saw that at E3. I saw their little release segment or whatever about how they actually had, like, the detail of, like, the rain on the body of the car. You know, I mean, like, they were going really in depth with the shit that they were going to be able to pull off graphically with the cars. And the game looked great, but to me it was like, this is another Forza, or, with just pretty graphics,
And then they took away the weather effects when they dropped the game.
Right.
So it's like, what were we doing this whole time? What was the
whole
point of pushing it back?
Right. That was the whole point.
Pushing a game back is, like Sarah said, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it can add more hype, and other times it's literally, when you push it back too many times, it's like, well, this is just, fuck it, I don't even care anymore.
Before we forget completely, but David, I will say, though, I don't think games were better when I was a kid. I'm actually enjoying gaming more now than I ever have before. I'm happier more now as an adult gamer, playing what I want to play. The games are giving me experiences that I didn't even know I wanted at the time, but they're better than ever. I'm happier than I've ever been, man. And I feel like I have more choice and options for where to play those games and how to get them and the amount of money I'm spending to get them.
I agree with that. I think the old games give more of a nostalgic feeling. I think that's where we like in terms of it being enjoyable compared to nostalgia. Like they are completely two different things. And I think we need to like kind of like split those,
It
right?
is hard to split from nostalgia, though.
It is, but like that's the thing. I think gaming now is way more easily accessible than it was before. And it's
100%.
like it's way more easily accessible, and it's more wider appreciated now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that the market has matured, and we do, like Manny said, like we have a plethora of options, and we get to pick and choose what appeals to us, and in that sense, it's matured. You know, before it was like, these are the games you can play, there's a select few, you're going to like them because that's all there is, and now you have, you know, a baseline to compare of like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and you can sort them into those categories. And that just like wasn't really an option. It's like, I'm gonna like this because I like games and defaults. Yay! Choose Swedish words in the English language. Simpsons reference.
But like, yeah, so I agree with that, and I think like I don't know, like right now, like games are good. I mean, we're getting into we're in the peak time for like new gen games. Sorry, not the peak time, but we're in that phase now where the new gen systems have been out long enough that developers are catering to that rather than trying to do both. I mean, yeah, games are going to come out on both.
2015
still.
will be a very interesting year.
Oh, 2015 is going to be ridiculous. And I think I don't know. I'm actually more excited for games now than I have been in the past 5-6 years. Like maybe it's like the effort that I'm putting into it. Like maybe it's the people that I'm socializing with more are more into games, so I actually talk about games more. But it's like literally like I'm actually like there's like a couple of years ago there was nothing like that I was stoked on. I don't remember the last like what was the last time that I think the last game that I bought a midnight release was Skyrim. Like you know what I mean? Like, that was the first time that I had done that, I think, since Modern Warfare 2. And even Modern Warfare 2, to be honest, the only reason why I got that game is because a buddy of mine wanted to get it midnight release, and I went with him. I'm like, yeah, sure, might as well pick it up and play it.
But it was great.
And I ended up enjoying it. But I'm just saying, though, like, you know what I mean? Now, though, there's so many games, I'm like, what? This game doesn't have a midnight release? You gotta be shitting me. Like, you know? Like that's the thing, right? It's like there's so many games now that I'm actually like anticipating like the day that it comes out. I'm like, oh, I am gonna be there picking up that game.
It's a commingling of the fact that there's more variety, but also there's more attention given to games now as well. So those are related items, you know, like new big releases make mainstream news because that's how big video games are now too. So the hype factor with new releases is much higher too. So I think that contributes to it.
I don't think yeah, that's totally, I think that's like 90% of it. Like there is like so much hype now with games. Like back in the day, like when I bought a Nintendo game, like I had 4 fucking pictures on the back of a cardboard box that told me like what I could know about the game. You know, there were no YouTube videos. There was no buddies talking on podcasts.
You didn't have your subscription to Game Pro or EGM?
No, of course not. No, I didn't Nintendo Powerful. Yeah. Come on. But even Nintendo Magazine, you'd get like a 2-page pullout, and they'd show you like 8 pictures and be like, oh yeah, this is like, this is Simon Belmont jumping over a clock tower or whatever. Just very basic, not really going into too much depth or whatever. And you had to make a judgment call based on that. So like I bought so many shitty games as a kid just because of that. It was like birthday. Like, you get to pick out a game or two or whatever. Your parents are like, yeah, it's your birthday. Like, pick out any game you want. You get 2 games or whatever. and you go and you get two of the worst fucking games you've ever played in your life. You know that feeling?
Yeah, I had Godzilla on Game Boy Color.
You probably don't know that feeling.
That's the thing, though, is like when we look back to our times as kids, I think we forget all the times we spent playing absolutely garbage games or being excited for like 2 years for a game that turned out to be absolute trash.
But there was no expectation.
Right.
Yeah, there was no expectation, and there was no like excitement or hype or whatever. Like I remember playing Mario 3 for the first time when I was a kid, and like literally like being beside myself because I had never played a game that good, and I had no expectation. Like Mario 1, right? Yeah. Mario 2, Doki Doki Panic, whatever you want to call it. You know, you had certain expectations or whatever based on the previous games, and today we know that that's obviously not the way that you can really live your video gaming life, so to speak. But playing Mario 3 was just such a mind-blowing experience, to the point where I still play Mario 3 probably once a week at some point in time.
Well, I think it's a testament to PT. So let's talk about PT for just a quick second, just on that. I think with that, that was, even though it was just a demo, because you wouldn't be able to put out a big title, like you were saying, because of the way like media works and stuff. But PT, for example, like how widely like just like appreciated was that just simple demo? Because literally it just went up on the store, nobody knew about it, it was there, and they were like, yeah, download it. There's no information about it, just go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where it was like
well, you set the bar supremely low, i.e. non-existent, and you're bound to surpass it.
But for me, at least, it was word of mouth. Like, it was like, again, compared
Still,
to music,
mainstream media.
having a buddy be like, yo, check out this band, they're crazy, and going into it with no expectations and listening to it and be like, oh my god, this band's amazing. It was kind of like that. Like, I had no expectations for the game, and I'm just like, I was told to download it and just play it. I'm like, okay, what's it like? And somebody's like, just I'm not telling you anything, just download it. So for me, at least with that, I was like, okay, it's going to be awesome. But still, knew nothing about it, just downloaded it, and was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that was like kind of what it was like back in the day. There was no like exposure.
This is
there
the
was
thing.
no.
The mystery has been removed.
Yeah, we know about most of the game before the game even comes out now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would like to see a game, literally like a big title game, just come out of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
But can it be a big title game from nowhere? That's the question.
No.
Not in.
It never happened again.
But even if it's like a new installment of a game, but just all of a sudden, like, they just did it on the back burner, and all of a sudden it's like comes out. It's like, what the hell? Like, where did this come from?
But from a business standpoint, that's dumb.
Right. Yeah.
But then again, though, here's the thing, though, right? It's like Manny was saying about all those times he played garbage games as a kid. Like, you literally have nothing to work on but the factor of how good your game is. That's all you rely on.
Well, that's indie games then.
No, but indie games, though, you need, like, that's the problem with indie games, though, is that you need that one dude on Polygon or Kotaku to review it to get people to actually, like...
Well, that's what we're saying, and we're not getting into a Gamergate discussion, but the media has a huge impact on the industry.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that it's also that game developers and publishers rely on the media. Like, I'm just saying, in a perfect world...
But that's the way business works.
I know, and that's the thing, is that video games become a business. Same thing with music. Again, I can keep going back to that, too. But it's like, how nice would it be to just literally see just, like, a game... Just literally, like, you didn't expect it. Like, all of a sudden, you walk into EB, you'd never heard of it. All of a sudden, you see a brand new... For me, like, I walk in out of nowhere, and I see a brand new Mega Man sitting on the shelf. And, like, what the fuck?
Well, to be fair, that's going off a pre-existing franchise, so
but that's what it's
brand equity.
But that's what I meant, like, or a developer, like, it's a brand new game, never heard of it, no reviews done it. They built it, they pressed it, they released it one day, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, how cool? Even as a marketing gimmick, how cool would that be? You would either sink or swim, depending on how good the game was.
Yeah, but that risk's not worth it.
But again, though, then, right? Then we're talking about integrity of games and stuff, and that's kind of how it goes, right? Like, that's what Manny was saying, and also what Eric was saying is that there was no real expectations before. It was just you played it. If you liked it, it was good. You tell your friends. He'd borrow your cartridge for 2 months, and you'd borrow one from him because you never just lent your friend a game. You're like, no, I'll trade you for it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's totally fair, but if that's what you want to do, then your only option really is to cut yourself off from the media and go, like, revert back to that stage. That's really the only way that that's ever going to happen.
Which is hard.
Yeah, like, let's be real, we're all curious. You, like, hear word from a friend, let's say it in the old school analogy, hear word from a friend that a game's coming out. Your natural instinct is to look it up. So, I mean, that's the thing. If you want it that way, you want the mystery back, you gotta turn it off. It's on you, not them.
Well, that's why, even though he's not here, that's why Brody was smart. Brody, actually, for Smash 4, he was telling all of us when we'd be talking about characters that were leaked, he'd be like, don't tell me. I don't want to hear anything. He's like, I just want to go into it. I just want to get into it. He's like, I'll figure out which characters are out on release day, and that's it. Like, you know, and for him, I was like, you know what, that's cool. Like, that was a cool discipline. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he wanted the mystery because he was stoked on the game, and he created it for himself. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that if you want that mystery, you have to make it for yourself. You can't expect any game developer in their right mind to be like, ooh, I'm doing no publicity and marketing. Haha, this is a great tactic. That's not the way the world works.
I don't know. I think it could either sink or swim, right?
Well, that's what indie games are.
Right. Yeah.
That was a good Bigwig song, by the way, too.
I will say really quickly though that it does happen on mobile though. I was like, let you guys go. It does happen on mobile though, where the turnaround time between announcement and release is maybe a month or two. Where a big publisher or even a small indie guy will be like, hey, our brand new game is coming out in the at the end of October, and you look at the date, it's like, oh, it's October 5th. But again, the stakes are smaller there. I mean, it's a cheaper game. It's not going to be. It's not. Didn't cost them like $500 million to make or anything like that.
I mean, I feel like developers feel like they're obligated to dump a shitload of money into the hype, you know, just because that's what's going to get the pre-orders. That's what's going to get people talking. You know, like, it's kind of the stigma that's attached to it, you know. So, like, if you're a big title, if you're a Bethesda or, you know, Rockstar or somebody like that, you know, it's like almost a guarantee that you're going to see a shitload of marketing done, which is fine, but
you kind of have to too. I mean, how many games are coming out within the next month or two? Like 50 or 60?
A lot.
If you want anyone to even remember your game exists at that point, you do have to put your name out.
It all comes back to the fact we have infinite variety nowadays between all the different platforms. So a saturated market means you have to make a splash.
I mean, you got to look at like, a perfect example is look at the way that, like, you know, now I work for Twitter, so I'm like, I noticed that when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, just the guys that did the voice acting for the three main characters, they each had like 50,000 followers on Twitter after the game came out. Like, that's just how powerful social media is. Like, the voice actors for the characters gained that much attention. I thought that was pretty wild, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever did Trevor's voice, he must be crazy in real life, because that was very convincing.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You got to watch Nathan Barnett. He does a really good I don't know if you know who that is, the character, Keith Apicary. If you don't know who he is, David, you should most certainly look him up because he's hilarious. He plays like a mentally challenged video game reviewer, kind of. It's a character. I don't know. It's hard to explain. He's definitely weird. But he reviews like all Neo Geo games and Sega Saturn and like all crazy stuff. But he's obsessed. He looks just like what the hell is this guy name? What the hell is this?
You're the one talking about him.
Yeah, no, not Nathan. Not Nathan. The character. Why? Not Travis.
Keith Apicary.
The guy. No, I know. I'm talking about Keith Apicary. I'm talking about the guy from Grand Theft Auto 5. The guy who has the cut tattoo. Trevor.
Oh.
Yeah, Trevor. That's right. Anyway, I was fucking looking at. Fuck you guys, all right? Anyway, moving along. We'll keep the flow going here. Does anybody have any other crazy topics? Because I think we're going to hold off on our list till next time.
You got business to do. You got to watch some hacky.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I just don't want this to be a 7-hour podcast like I know everyone loves getting involved in. We'll save it for next time. That way we have a little bit.
We can do our list next time when more people are actually here. But
hopefully Brody's drug deal doesn't go.
What list are you talking about?
Take a turn for the worst, and he doesn't get locked up.
We were supposed to prepare a list about our top 5 favorite side quests. That was side quests / unlockables. That was supposed to be the podcast topic for the day.
Yeah, David, if you want to make a little list for next time.
Yeah, that's gonna be the plan. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I actually preferred this more than just running down the list going like, number 1 is this.
I missed the list, though. We had lots of fun with those, and it gave it more order. It wasn't like, let's have a giant debate and talk over each other.
Well, you know what's great? Now that we actually have a pretty large crew again, we can start doing the team trivia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we weren't around for that, and I heard about it, and I can't.
They were good. They were good. Yeah.
Also, I heard there was a drunken episode, and I know that's kind of what we do every week normally, but it'd be nice to see everyone do it.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of. I'm convinced you guys are alcoholics because you're always drinking. Every podcast.
That's just Wednesdays.
Yeah, honestly, we had beer delivered to our home.
I heard that's pretty.
Because I was like, we only have.
It's like, fuck going to the store. I'm just gonna have it delivered.
Well, yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that.
You pay $5 and a guy brings you beer to your door.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah, exactly. And people complain about it, and I'm like, dude, $5 and you get beer brought to your house.
Lazy man tax.
Yeah, what's there to complain about?
Exactly. No, we're borderline functioning alcoholics.
Oh, okay. Well, I respect that.
I enjoy beer.
You just gotta party hard.
I don't know. I never get drunk anymore. Like, it doesn't happen. But I enjoy beer. I drink beer. And I play video games. That's what I do. That's what I tell people. They're like, what do you do with your life? I'm like, I drink beer and play video games. They're like, wow, you're a fucking loser. I'm like, well, go fucking kill yourself.
Also, do you know how fun my life is?
But then, you know what I mean? Like,
you gotta try it sometime, bro.
I could be like, oh, I get drunk a lot and I play guitar, and they'd be like, oh, cool, that's super cool. Like, no, but I say I drink beer and play video games. They're like, well, you're a fucking loser. Like.
Yeah, when you add video games in there, you get the stereotype quite a bit.
Well, we don't live in a basement, so we miss that stereotype.
Well, you know what, though? But everyone will tell you that you probably live in your mom's basement.
Yeah.
And that they fuck them.
I get a lot of hate. Yeah, I get a lot of hate on Twitter, and people always tell me that I'm 30 years old, living in my mom's basement, and, it's the same spiel. It's the same shit. But you know what? The people that are telling you that are the fucking degenerate, 16-year-old, 17-year-old kids that don't really know anything about life. So, to all you that are watching out there, fucking go get a job and work 40 hours a week and fuck yourself.
I work 40 hours a week, so I can come home and drink beer and play video games. That's what I do. That's why I work 40 hours a week, so I can come home, drink beer, and play video games. That's it in a nutshell.
It's a pretty good life.
Yeah.
David, where are you from? I don't think we actually we know your story.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, sir.
Oh, okay, you a Bears fan?
No.
With prejudice.
I can't fuck with the Bears, man.
Why?
Because they're so ass. Like, ugh.
Who's your team, then?
I'm definitely a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh, my God.
Throw up the X, Dez. Throw up the X.
Yeah, Dez. Yeah, all right. Anyway, that's for another time.
All right, let's do the sign off.
I will say, I will ask David. Did you get to say everything you want to say this episode? Because we kind of went off in a different topic.
I had a
and you
great
didn't talk as
time
much.
just being able to be invited.
No, but did you get your topic off?
I didn't really have
You
a
good?
topic. I just wanted to play off you guys for my first time. So next week we could definitely dive into a lot more stuff.
About Resolution Gate.
Discuss that. We're over that now. I just want to
All right.
hear your opinions. But yeah, Eric, you know I'm messing with it.
Yeah. All right, I got you. Yo, you got Madden?
No, I just got this FIFA last week.
Damn, why didn't you pick up Madden?
Because I was gonna get 2K until I found out the servers were ass, and then I was like, nah, I'm getting FIFA. But I actually had Madden on PS4, but I traded my PS4 for an Xbox One, so that's why I don't have Madden anymore. So now I gotta go re-get Madden.
All right, well, I'll roll you in Madden whenever you pick it up. You just let me know.
I'll definitely give you the busyness with the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. All right, so we will sign off here and leave you guys until next week. We'll go down the line here. We'll start with David. Thanks for coming out, man. It's nice seeing you, and glad you could join us, and we'll pick up where we left off next week.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Manny? All right, well, we're going to leave, so you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm cool.
All right. Thank you, Manny. Zach and Sarah?
Thanks for having us, guys. It was fun.
Follow our
As always.
Facebook. We make cool art. Shout out.
Don't look at their Facebook. It's stupid. All right. And
House.
No, you can check it. I actually bought a lot of stuff from Sarah, so you guys go check it out. She does some pretty cool paintings. Well, Zach, do you paint that stuff too, or is it just Sarah?
Yeah, I do. Right now, I'm just focusing on the Pokemon stuff. So all the Pokemon, like the colored stuff that you see on the Facebook, that's me. All the black outline stuff, that's all Sarah.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. And I'm Eric, and I was your host. And next week, maybe Brody will be back if he's not in prison. Maybe he'll be here, maybe he won't. But thanks again for joining us for the Gamers Roundtable. Follow us on Facebook, or we're not even on Facebook, but follow us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. My handle is @EricMiller3. Sarah has one that she barely uses, so don't worry about her. Zach never goes on Twitter. He's an idiot. Dave, do you have Twitter?
Oh yeah, @SmithDogTrail.
Wait, do you follow me? I think you do.
Yeah, I'll be always be sending you tweets.
Okay, that's you. That's you. That was always hitting me up. I was like, damn, this guy looks familiar. Yeah. Yeah, follow David. What's your handle on Twitter, David?
SmithDogTrail. That's SMITDAWG Trill.
And man is what? EM Marino?
Marino EM?
Marino EM. Cool.
There you go.
Well, we're the Gamers Roundtable,
There you go.
and
There you
Brody
go.
always says something really stupid here, so I'm just going to say goodnight and keep playing games and doing your thing.
Keep on gaming.
Keep
Keep gaming hard. That's what it is. Keep gaming hard.
cooking that chicken.